just to add on the video that I just did when it comes to buying property in the Philippines, and something that people asked me on was that they asked me about what are their rights when you buying properties in the Philippines. I've seen many people that have purchased properties in the Philippines that are running in a situation where they had to back out because of the finances. They lost their job and they can no longer pay for it. So what are your rights when it comes to these? And this is what most people ask me a question on. In the Philippines, there's a thing called Masada law. What Masada law in the Philippines was that it's basically equivalent of our Consumer Protection Act in Toronto. And for example, in the Philippines, according to Masada law, if you are continuously paying for your property for let's say it's been 2 years now, and on the third year or after the second year that you lost your job and you can no longer continue, you're entitled to get back half of your money that you put in the property. So these are the things that you should watch out on, because I've seen developers that I dealt with that they're giving a hard time on their client when it comes to when they want to back out, right? For the most part, because they don't, most of the people, they don't know their rights, and they don't ask questions. So these are the things for you to know. If you just do a Google search on Masada law, that should give you an idea of what you should be entitled on in case that you come in the situation that you have to back out. For the most part, the thing that you're gonna be dealing with in the Philippines, and in the negative way, is that the red tapes. Red tape. I probably have mentioned this in the video, in my first video, but red tape is the thing that really grinds my gear in the Philippines. When I was selling a property in the Philippines, I didn't know much when I first started. I didn't know much about the Philippines because I came in Toronto when I was 12 years old, and I only been back in the Philippines for the first time at that time when I was selling properties, just to check out these projects that they have. And what I learned when I was dealing with the developers that I was dealing with was that their way of business, it's they're a culture of doing business. It's very hard to communicate with them, just to get a right answer from them. And these are something that you're gonna encounter on if you were to buy a property in the Philippines. For example, contracts. They're flip-flopping on the contracts. The thing that you sign might not be the thing that you're gonna get, because most of the time they have the rights to augment your contract, and this is something again for you to know of whoever developer that you're gonna be dealing with, because this is what the reality is. Um, uh, for the most part, there's a lot of a terminology that you might find it weird. For example, their contract to sell, their CTS, as they call it, is equivalent to our agreement of purchase and sale. So don't get confused on what the on the terminology. It's just pretty much the same thing as what we do here in Toronto. It's just they use a whole bunch of a terminology that it might not make sense to you, and if you ask them questions and stuff like that, then that's when you get to this red tapes that it's very hard to communicate. It takes them forever just to like respond to your questions, and if they do respond, all they say is that, well, I'm gonna endorse you to this person, and this person will endorse you to this person, and this person will endorse you to this person, until you get to the point that you're so frustrated. Yeah, so this is something that you're gonna encounter on, and and also when it comes to financing. So be very careful when it comes to financing in the Philippines, because in the Philippines it's not the same thing as what we do in North America. Um, there's a lot of hidden costs that I learned when it comes to doing a mortgage financing in the Philippines. Just to do a paperwork, they will charge you arm and the leg. I don't know how they come up with that, um, but yeah, there's a charge on just about anything, and they don't have to do a justification of that. They just do what they do, and you ask them questions, it's hard to communicate with them anyway. So they all know that you're gonna give up. So and that's why they get away with this. Be um, so so these are the things that you should watch out on if you're gonna be buying properties in the Philippines. And if you have any more questions about how they do stuff in the Philippines, please feel free to ask me when it comes to real estate. Okay.